welcome back to another episode of the most authentic and nuanced holistic health and fitness podcast, hosted by your favorite crunchy strength and conditioning coach. I'm Kelsey Moore, and today we're talking about my Crunchy Gal Couch to 5K. Say that 10 times fast. Crunchy Gal Couch to 5K. When I was typing it out and writing my ebook that has the program on it, I just kept having to type like Crunchy Gal Couch to 5K. It was like kind of a mouthful and a type having to type that out, but I'm really excited about it. It's a pretty good size ebook. I mean, it's like 19 pages, something like that, and it has the Crunchy Gal aspect of it. So it has more of the ancestral living and eating principles and how you should relay that to a more performance-based idea, training for a 5K. And then it also has a 5K program on it. And it is a true, like an absolute true couch to 5K. If you can walk, then you can do the 5K. You can do the couch to 5K program. So I put it out. I specifically wrote it as an ebook and not as a course, just because I wanted it to be really accessible and not have a lot of barriers to it. And until April 23rd, it is $12 to purchase. After that, it'll probably be about $18 to $22. So yeah, I'm excited to put that out there for everybody. But before I dive into that, I'll give you guys some updates. I'm recording this on April 17th. Tomorrow, I'm recording with my biggest guest yet, Shauna Holman, the creator, owner, everything of A Little Less Toxic and the New York Times bestseller of A Healthier Home, her book. She is amazing, and I'm very excited to chat with her. I've got some pretty good questions for her already ready to go, and I'm excited to see where the conversation goes. I hope that she gives us a little bit more of her quote unquote like de-influence side of her life, rather than just, everything that she talks about on her Instagram is very much like what I talk about. Take back your responsibility, take one small step towards a less toxic home, like less toxic lifestyle, products, eating real whole foods, know your farmer, talk and ask questions about, with your doctors. So she is very much in line with me, but I would love to talk to somebody who has a very large following, but how she manages that in her real life with her online presence. Because one of the spicier questions I have for her, and I hope we get to it, is I have personally seen this transition of my own life, and I really don't like it. And I'm trying to figure out how to better navigate this on a personal level. But ever since I started sharing more things on Instagram with, my products, or how much I love exercising, or how much I'm running and things like that, in real life, people get very apologetic and insecure around me. Like if I meet them in real life, not because it's like they're fangirling on me. It's like legitimately like I'm meeting a friend of a friend, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I follow you on Instagram," and I'm like, "Oh, that's awesome," thanks so much. And then they'll be like, I don't work out as much as you, or like I don't do stuff like you, and I'm like, why are you caveating your life to me? I just met you. That's okay. But immediately, from my personal and selfish perspective, I think, why am I making this person insecure? I know I'm not responsible for their emotions. I know I'm not responsible for their maturity in these areas. But at the same time, I want to empower people to make wise choices. I don't want people to get weirder and more insecure around me in real life. And so I want to ask a true influencer that question. How, when you meet somebody at church, how are they responding to you? You have strong opinions about things. You have strong opinions about big ag, big pharma, all of these hot topics, and you voice them in such a gracious way. How do you navigate those in real life? That's what I want to ask her. That's the main thing. And any other big influencer I ever interview, I want to ask them, how are you navigating that? What's your response? How do you stay so gracious to those types of people? And how do you stay gracious to people on the internet that just perceive you a certain way, and one day you don't give that off, and then they're caught off guard by it? I want to know that. So I am influenced by Danny Austin's De-Influencing podcast about talking with people who have a audience about how the heck they manage that. That's what I want to get across. A couple of the things that are really fun and exciting. I have my 50-mile trail race this Saturday in, 3 days. 3 days. I'm about to do the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. And the race doesn't start till 9 a.m. And I did the math, and the math has it coming out that if I run about 12 hours, which I'm assuming I'm going to run between like 12 and 14 hours. I'm going to be done between 9 and 11 p.m. And when I realized that earlier this week, I was like, oh, it really sunk in. Like, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be suffering for a really long time. And it'll be an interesting challenge for me because I am not a night owl. Like, when my husband's gone or he's working a lot, I go to bed like at 8 o'clock, even 7:30 sometimes. My like perfect day would be go to bed at like 7 and then wake up at 3:30 a.m. and like get all of my chores done. I know that sounds miserable to a lot of people, but that's really what I would desire. So the fact that I'm going to be running and exercising through the evening and into full darkness with a headlamp, I already know like that's going to be a major pain cave for me. I can already tell. So getting excited, getting super anxious. We're camping out the night before. It starts out like on a big grassy field, like with a chapel on it, and we're camping on the grassy field. So kind of like my other races that are set up. I decided not to kind of debrief this one on a podcast beforehand because my desire is that I can interview my running coach, George, maybe afterwards, and he can kind of walk through what was the A to Z with me as me being his athlete and have him put it in his own words. So I'm hoping to get that scheduled pretty soon. Sorry, I clicked the mute button on accident. I'm trying to kind of adjust my microphone. Now that I put these videos on YouTube, I'm really cognizant about like how everything looks. And I'm just not at a place in my life right now where I have the energy to like make everything perfect, like visually. But having the microphone literally right in front of my face is probably not ideal. So adjusting that. So have my race on Saturday. The last 5 days, I've had 2 sets of photos scheduled. I got one set of photos, like my big branding session done last Saturday. I got my hair and makeup done. I got a spray tan. I got my nails done. And I went through so many moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting all of this done for like a quote unquote natural looking photo for my brand that promotes natural, like living, ancestral living. Like what? So I kind of felt like a poser to some extent, but I was like, I want these photos to look really nice. I want them to look really polished. I think marketing does have, and visual marketing has a really big pull on how you sell yourself in speaking engagements and how your website appears and all of that. So I just wanted to look the best version of me and what I wanted to portray to my audience and to the people that are going to be seeing those photos. So I got the works. I don't regret it, but I was like, this is ironic. At least when I got my spray tan done, my girl gave me a more like organic based solution. So at least I had a little less toxic solution that I got on my skin. And I will tell you right now, I'll just give you the PSA if you've never had a spray tan, because this is my first spray tan ever. You wonder if you follow people on Instagram who have 0 ounces of cellulite in a bathing suit, especially on the back of their legs or on the bottom of their bum. I guarantee you, girlfriend, they have a spray tan. Because immediately when I got my spray tan, I was like, oh my gosh, every single imperfection I ever thought about myself is immediately gone because I'm 10 shades darker. And while that, again, felt like I was kind of faking it in real life. So I was like, this is not my real life. And I'm also very passionate about like not getting Botox and like not getting work done on my face or getting like breast implants and stuff. But look at me, like getting a spray tan. Like I fully understand it can be looked upon as very hypocritical and very fake. So I recognize it's a balance and I haven't quite figured that out. Anyways, if you wonder how people look so amazing on Instagram, it's because they have the works done. It's because they dye their hair. It's because they have the best hairstylist. It's because they have 10,000 pounds of hairspray in. It's because they have a spray tan. It's because they have properly fitting clothes that are probably tailored to them. Like, let's pull our head out of the sand on what Instagram is. And if photos don't look amazing, then that's probably just like displaying their real life. I'm not gonna lie. Like, and what are you gonna do? Judge them for that? Absolutely not. Just like have some perspective on it. So anyways, got some branding photos done. It was really fun. It was great. I used a local girl here in town, Sarah Coffin Photos. She was awesome. She captured the essence of what I wanted in my More & Co branding photos. We took lots of pictures of like food and meat and exercise photos. And those are going to be like universal photos that I'm going to be able to use all over my website. So pretty excited about that. Pumped about that. And then I ended up winning a free headshot session with another local gal here in Ward County. When I went to like a military spouse event, I got free headshots. So I had another session on Tuesday, and I purposely scheduled it that way because I was like, if I have the spray tan and I like know how to do my hair and makeup right now, like I'm in the mood of doing it all, my nails are done, then I'm going to take advantage of it all, and I'm just going to get the second round done. And I did, and it was great. And I really appreciated how she like posed me and how she like set me up and the outfits that we chose. And the second day, like that day, Tuesday, was the day I posted on my Instagram, the one with like the blue blazer, the navy pants, and like my fun Nike shoes. And I talked a little bit about how I want to be able to blend professionalism, athleticism, and beauty all in one photo. And I felt like she truly, from the bottom of my heart, captured that. Obviously, it was a mix of like having my hair done, like the beauty aspect of it, the professionalism with the blazer, and then the athleticism. It's like no other girl. Like if you're not working in athletics, like why are you wearing like Nike Dunks? Like you should only be wearing those if you like work in athletics and like like if you know kind of situation. So I mix it all, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of that outfit idea that I put together because that was all on me. All on me. I got no help with that outfit. So proud. And that's not up my alley, as you guys know at this point. So the fact that I put that outfit together, I'm just so proud. So stinking proud. So those are some of the bigger things going on. I would say that leading up to my race, my motivation is kind of up and down. I am done with obviously my bigger runs. I crushed one of my bigger runs like 2 weeks ago, and then I started my taper. And throughout this taper, my motivation has been kind of up and down, I would say. I don't have a lot to articulate on that. I would just say that I'm not super duper fired up. Maybe that excitement will ramp a lot on Friday, but I think I'm more leaning on the nervousness at this point. So if you're listening to this between now, April 17th, and this Saturday, April 20th, pray for me. I'm feeling pretty nervous about it. This is the second time I've brought it up on this stupid podcast that I'm nervous. Anyways, okay, let's talk about the Crunchy Gal Couch 5K. So why did I write this? I wrote this because as I was going through my 50-mile training journey, I had so many women asking me specific questions about running. How do they get into running? Should they be running? Can they run with the injuries they currently have? What kind of shoes should they wear? Can they wear barefoot shoes? How should they fuel? They don't want to eat. It's my dog. It's a lot. It's a lot of audio you guys are getting right now. You're getting my Ring doorbell. Wow, you're getting my Ring doorbell. You're getting my dog. Let me check to make sure nobody's here on purpose that I need to actually answer the door for. Pulling up my Ring camera, If you don't have a Ring camera, you need one, okay? This is real life. Oh, no. That was just a nice UPS gentleman. Okay, he's walking away. Now I got to get my dog to be quiet. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna mute it, and then I'm gonna yell at her. So hold on. All right, we're back. If you're watching this on YouTube, then you're seeing chaotic videos. Why did I write this ebook? Because so many women were asking me questions, and I think a lot of times, especially with the new like pro-metabolic trend and, a lot of influencers saying that women should only be walking for their hormones and so that we're not overtaxing, overstressing the body. Women are getting this idea that they should not be running, or it's bad for them, or it's not positive for them in the long run. There's a lot of reasons, and I have a lot of reasons to combat those reasons. But here are some of my bigger ones. Women shouldn't be running for their hormone production or like stress because they are already managing so much other stress in their life. therefore they shouldn't be running. Which I say, that's a valid thing to say. I have said that before on podcasts. If you're at a point in your life where you're not strength training, you're undersleeping, you're underfueling, yeah, you should not run. You should probably go strength train, go drink a protein shake, and go take a nap. Like that's the combo that you need. But if we just give the blanket statement, women should only walk, which people think I'm being dramatic. One of my favorite influencers, I love her to death, put this on her Instagram about 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to scream. I wanted to be a little catty, screenshot it, put it on my stories, and be like, this is wrong. But I was like, Kelsey, don't do that. You're inappropriate. Like, that would be inappropriate. Don't do it. So I didn't do it, but it's bothered me ever since. And hence, I have my own podcast. I can rant about it on here. So when you see phrases like that, women should only walk, from some of the biggest and best influencers here in the crunchy space, I'm thinking, ladies, we are missing a vital piece. Our bodies are so stinking resilient. There are women running the Boston Marathon. There are women in NCAA and the Olympic cross country. There are women trekking across America. There are women winning 260-mile races, breastfeeding their children on the way while still having a proper menstrual cycle. Like, I don't want to hear it on the only walking. I don't want to hear it. So that's one. I will always caveat, strength training should probably be the priority. Unless you have had a significant strength training block, you're sleeping, you're eating appropriately, you have a proper menstrual cycle without pharmaceuticals, then guess what? You can absolutely go into a running training plan. That is totally fine. But what I'd say is, if you've only been running your entire life so that you can become skinnier and thinner and smaller, and you're underfueling and undersleeping, and you've never strength trained in your life, and your muscle mass is low, then no. Then I would say, you can run, but I think there needs to be a better balance with the strength training. And like I've said before, the last 7 years, I have been a meatball. I've been a meathead working in the biggest and baddest weight rooms across the country. Most strength coaches, here's some insider culture here, just so you guys know and have a window into it. Real strength coaches in real life don't run. They don't run. They don't do it. Very, very little amount of them actually run. They strength train. All they do is they weight lift. They get into little niches. They do velocity-based training. They do Olympic weightlifting. They do powerlifting. They take steroids. They take testosterone. They grow beards. They have giant traps and huge necks. That's a strength coach. Now, you want to talk about a different set of culture. PhD students and PhD researchers in exercise and sports science, what do? They're ultramarathon runners. It's a weird phenomenon. Look it up. Most Most ultra distance runners, at least the good ones, also have a PhD in physics, biomechanics, chemistry, engineering, exercise and sports science, physiology. It's very strange. Those are the cultures that I see. So in those worlds, they are so smart. I'm not going to say that their physique is perfect. They definitely could probably manage more muscle mass, but at that point they're running so much that muscle mass would hinder their goals in regards to ultramarathon training and racing. So it's a give and take, right? But I will still say that most women that are in ultramarathon running and training, and they're hiking, it includes trails, they got some legs. They have some density to them. Whereas if you just watch, maybe you just watch the Boston Marathon, or you watch cross country runners, they're going to be a lot thinner because they're not doing as much elevation. So just a side note, I want to lift everybody off of this women can only walk situation. Another thing is, I think when you say women should only walk, you are vilifying running. And when you do that, you're potentially adding a stipulation to women who are fit and asking them then to detrain. Now, again, is there a very small sliver of women who should probably stop running, who are very fit to manage acute injuries, manage fatigue, manage nutrition or caloric input and output? Should they stop running because it's not part of their periodized program? Of course. But when you're giving blanket statements of women should only walk to across the board women, you're potentially asking women to become more detrained in the long run. And that's kind of the issue I have a lot with cycle syncing. It's like when you ask women to not work out for 2 weeks, you're asking them to be more unfit because you're asking them not to work out for 50% of the year. That's a problem. There's a problem. We're taking performance information that's due for the 1% and we're extrapolating it into the 99% of people. And we're saying, what I'm saying is like, let's get back to the basics of like going for a jog out in the sun, eating a good meal afterwards, and sleeping 8 to 10 hours a night. Like, can we get back to that? Because that sounds like a pretty good life to me. Another reason I don't totally love it is because you're hindering women's like aerobic capacity. Besides having an appropriate amount of muscle mass, the number one predictor of chronic disease late in life is going to be how fit you are aerobically. How efficiently does your body shuttle oxygen from your lungs through your blood vessels via blood and oxygenated blood to your muscles and making things more efficient, shuttling carbohydrates into certain areas, using those carbohydrates, the strength of your heart, your blood pressure, your heart rate, your respiratory rate. All of those things are predictors of your health long term. And if we're asking women to not do cardio training because of the potential acute cortisol spike, meaning that it happens immediately but potentially not long term, then what's happening is you are then affecting women's heart rate, blood pressure, strength of their heart, stroke volume, efficiency of transporting oxygen and energy fuel sources to their muscles and to their capillaries. Like, those are all things that you need to be working on to be aerobically fit. And if you're telling women to not run or not do cardio because of cortisol, then you are affecting the fitness of all of those other systems, which I don't love. Now, women are going to bring up like the cortisol spike issue. Cortisol does spike acutely. You know why? Because that's what your body is supposed to do. That is positive. That is a fight or flight response that is appropriate for the stimulus that you're getting. So you're running, you're training, your heart rate's high, you're sweating, you're getting flushed. Your body needs to cool off internally. So it's bringing the blood to the surface of your skin so that you sweat, and through evaporation, your blood cools off. These are all systems that are correct. Now, the problem lies is when you go through that cortisol spike and ding, 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 everything that I always go back to, are you refueling and are you resting and you're recovering afterwards? If you are not, then yeah, you're cranking on the gas pedal. But again, if you run and then you sleep and you eat and you do your mobility and you work on your feet and the strength of your feet, the strength of your ankles and your calves and your hips, and you tackle all those things and you take back your responsibility for your health and your injuries, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay, I promise. And nobody wants to hear this, but women have denser mitochondria, meaning that we have a better way to oxidize fat in our bodies than men do. And the rate at which women are improving in aerobic capacities, like long events, endurance events, women, pound for pound, do better than men. If I can find a study, I'll link it to the show notes. But it's the truth. Women are improving at a much faster rate than men are now that women are training, now that we have several generations of women running. Men have been running for thousands of years because they were the hunters of the hunter-gatherer style. And men have been in more organized sports for much longer. And so now that we have generations of women training specifically, and we have resources for women to train at a high level, women are improving at a faster rate. So, food for thought, just putting it out there. So I'm hoping to answer some of those questions. And I definitely call myself the Crunchy Strength Coach because I do think there is a happy middle ground between the Paul Saladino, don't ever sprint, you should only walk and never wear polyester clothing, to the NCAA Division I athletics where everybody drinks Red Dye 40 Gatorade and Dry Fit polyester t-shirts. There's got to be a happy medium, and we should be able to mix those and have a high performing athlete. So that is what I'm trying to convey in the ebook, basically. I give a breakdown, a very basic breakdown. This is like a drop in the bucket of your metabolic systems, metabolic pathways. How does your body use carbohydrates? How does your body use fat? How should you train? in regards to cardio training. Should you be doing long, low, and slow cardio? Should you be doing intervals? Should you be doing threshold repeats? I give some of that. Again, this is a couch to 5K, so very much for a beginner. This is not a 5K to 10K. This is not a 10K to half marathon. This is not a half marathon to marathon. This is not a marathon to ultra marathon type of training plan. So understand, this is for people who are considered sedentary. What should they understand, and how should they understand how their body operates? I also give some shoe suggestions, like should you pay attention to your heel drop? Should you pay attention to your toe box? These are all things that in the crunchy space we talk about. People ask about Vivo Barefoots and Earth Runners, but are those good running shoes? What are things you should consider? Is there a happy medium of things that you should take into account when you're purchasing running shoes? Clothing choices. In a perfect world, we're going to be wearing the merino wool and 100% organic cotton t-shirts. But is that the best when you're running? Is that conducive for unfortunately, like chafing and blisters? Like, should you wear the nylon clothing or the nylon socks? Think about it. Talk about it. Can we find a clean version of like a Body Glide, which the brand Body Glide is pretty clean. So that's what I would recommend. Fueling sources. Do we have to drink the Gatorade, the fake artificial dyed Gatorade? Do we have to eat like the disgusting protein bars? Or are there cleaner options, real food, ancestral options, animal-based options that we can go for? And I have those listed out on the ebook, girl. I have my favorite Spring Energy Gels in flavor Awesome Sauce. Those are amazing. That's what I've been using this entire training program. Like electrolyte powder, Redmond's Real Salt, they make one. And also Trace Minerals is pretty solid. Also Crucial 4. Crucial 4 is very expensive though. I give like honey, maple syrup, fruit. These are all viable options when you're training and you need a carbohydrate source. And then of course I have things like, well, how should you plan out your morning when you want to race your 5K? What are some things you should consider if you've never done a race before? One thing that nobody ever talks about, but I have clearly talked about it on here, is your pre-race nervous poops. They're always going to come. How should you plan for your restroom schedule in the morning? What should you eat before you race? Should you eat a lot of fiber? Not a lot of fiber. How much water should you drink? What is the rate at which you should be drinking water? Should you be adding electrolytes? I answer all those questions in the ebook. So that's kind of just like a central location. And again, as someone who is trying to figure out the best way to give out information, I'm sorry that it has to be behind a paywall. Seriously, I'm sorry. It's $12, okay, until the 23rd. It's going to be $18 after. But I had to do it, okay? I spent a lot of time on it. So as someone who just like cares passionately about it, it will always be there for you guys, okay? Now, let's go into the programming examples. So it is a 4-day split program, meaning that in a perfect world, you would do these sessions Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. And the reasons why I did that is I kind of synced it up with my workout memberships because they're automatically, I didn't even tell you the reason why you guys should do this. Anybody who joins my Couch to 5K is going to be entered into a year's membership on Train Heroic. A year's membership. I mean, if that's not an incentive to purchase a $12 ebook, you can win like a $250 workout membership on Train Heroic, then I don't know what is. So there's that. But I programmed it as a 4-day split, meaning that I kind of synced it up with my workout memberships. And the reason why I did that is because I can then use the Crunchy Gal Couch to 5K workouts as the structured movement and the conditioning in my workout memberships, which is what they're currently doing. And it gives the women on the workout memberships a little bit more flexibility to choose what type of workout they want to do each day. For example, my 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s program, the beginner programs, the dumbbell-only programs that I have, they lift on Mondays, but I also have the Couch to 5K written there on Mondays. I give an option. You can do either or. I did give them structure saying, hey, only if you are sleeping, eating, at peace, have the time, like have a good relationship with exercise, should you be doing 2 days. Like very, very little of you, like small amount of you should be doing that, or none of you should be doing that unless you have a desire to do that. But if you want to have that flexibility, then you should be strength training at least 1 to 2 days a week. And you have the choice of when you're going to get that done. I care deeply about women making really positive and wise choices for themselves, especially for their health. So I do feel like sometimes when coaches give like, you must do this on this day, it takes the agency out of the customer and the client to make wise choices for themselves. And it makes the client ask me questions so that they can learn. Because I've noticed when people hop on my memberships, they have tons of questions, which is rightfully so. And that's why I'm here. But then once I ask those questions, then I can see their comments and I'm like, okay, good. They made those substitutions for themselves. Because I'm not under any illusion that every single woman's going to be on my workout membership for the end of time. Like I'm under no impression that's going to happen, meaning they're going to leave my membership at some point, hopefully not anytime soon, but at some point down the road, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And I want them to have more tools in their tool belt. Therefore, I give them options. And then if they are confused, they ask me questions. Some of those workouts in that 4-day split include workouts that are like 30-minute continuous walk with a 10-second jog or sprint every 5 minutes. It's exactly how it sounds. You walk, you go on a 30-minute walk, you look at your watch. Every 5 minutes, you jog. If you're like very sedentary or you're very uncomfortable with running, then you can jog for 10 seconds. Like if you can't jog for 10 seconds, then you should be on bed rest, to be honest. Like shuffle your feet for 10 seconds. If you really can't jog, then you can power walk aggressively for 10 seconds. So there are styles of exercises and workouts like that. There are also like repeats, like hard for 2 minutes, walk easy for a minute. Now, that's pretty relative to each of the athletes that are doing it. Hard for 2 minutes could either be a power walk that's hard for 2 minutes, or you could be running hard for 2 minutes. It's all relative in that sense. I also have things called push, meaning that's kind of like the same as like hard, meaning that with whatever you've chosen, walking or running, like push your pace. I also have a 2-mile trial, time trial written on there. I believe on week 3, I have it on there. So you can try out your time. I also have workouts that are like thresholds, basically being like 2 sets of 10 minutes at an RPE of 6, depending on where you're sitting with that relative to you. And because I am the coach doing the work for you in regards to programming it, I have built that up over the course of 6 weeks. Now, I did start my workout members officially on week 1 this week, so April 15th, but I have it open starting next Monday. April 22nd is going to be the first week of the program for anybody else that's not on my workout memberships and they just purchased the ebook. But so they're technically only going to do 5 weeks of the program, but it's very much still very effective. And they get to keep that ebook forever and ever, you know? And if you're on the workout memberships, the ebook is for free on the Crunchy Company, which is my nutrition database and library that I put different articles on. So, short and sweet. If you guys have any more running questions, let me know through Instagram. Wish me luck this Saturday. I'm going to plug my workout memberships. We're on deload week right now, meaning that every 4 weeks we deload, which is the beginning of the next card. So the volume is lower and you can try out the new exercises with very little threat. Ask your questions, figure it out, send me videos. And that's this week. So if you're interested in joining the workout memberships, $22 a month. It includes periodized strength training protocols, walk to run progressions, YouTube video links, remote coaching and accountability from me, monthly Zoom calls, and the Crunchy Company nutrition library. All $22 a month, creating an affordable workout membership for women so that they have less hurdles to start exercising. Obviously, if you connect with me being a Christian and having a Christ-like view on body image and also having ancestral eating and living principles to live by, then you fit within my niche. You don't have to have those, but we would definitely connect more if you had those interests as well, but you don't have to. Just that's the perspective that I come from. And yeah, I offer 3 memberships, 2 beginner programs, my 20s and 30s, and my 40s and 50s. Very similar programs, just in different demographics. Sometimes they have a little different nuanced differences to them within the groups. And the group chats are obviously going to be different because you're going to be within women who are within your same demographic. But those are my beginner programs, dumbbell only, and bands and soft medicine ball focused programs, which is very much like home gym, home base ideas. Easy to get done with the equipment that you have. And then if you're an intermediate lifter and you want to do a barbell program, then I have my barbell and run program, which is a 4-day split of strength training. So you'll be lifting Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, Saturdays are cardio days or optional days, depending on what your life looks like. Those lifts start with barbell main movements with functional accessories and some cardio finishers, or doing the Crunchy Gal Couch 5K right now. That's what they're doing. So plugging the workout memberships here on this podcast today, but wish me luck tomorrow with Shauna. I am so excited to interview her. I hope to hear some insider things on her life and what she's doing, maybe new projects that she's working on, and wish me luck, and also pray for me this Saturday on my 50-mile trail race. Woo! It's 30 weeks in the making. Okay, talk to you soon. Bye.